He survives within 2 meters. It got the 1 meter nerf. It got the 1 meter nerf. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Severhands is not dead. Oh, past Astral. What a ignorant fool you were. Optimistic in the wrong place. Hello, everybody. My name is Astral, and I am a Prestige 100 artist main, currently writing the Artist Guide, and I have a little bit of a, unfortunately, not very positive video today, despite all the good we've gotten today. And I want this video to be specifically feedback for behavior on your specific artist add-on changes. If you want my opinion on pretty much everything else, Springtrap, fantastic. Map, fantastic. Perk changes, Desperate is a little insane, but like we can get to that later. But as a artist main, I want to give you my personal feedback on the add-on changes, and I want you to listen to everything I say, because I will promise you I will be cordial. I will be absolutely explaining things that I think you did wrong, things I think you did right, and how I would fix them. I'm not gonna say this is a problem and not give you a solution, because I work in a lot of places. Unfortunately, it is 11 o'clock at night. I just got home from work, so I have to do this very quick so I can go to bed. When it came to the artist add-on changes, I was very, very scared, because artists hadn't gotten any big, massive balance changes ever since the light burn was removed from her crows. In the past, she used to be able to light burn crows with flashlights. Say your friend was being chased by an artist, she set up a bird, and you had a flashlight. You could go over and burn the click a flashlight on the crows and get rid of them. It was very frustrating for the artists. A lot of people said it was good for team play. Personally, it was super frustrating. It was more frustrating on the art killers like Rafe, but that was the only balance change we had this for artists ever. So a lot of people were always telling me, do you think artists needed any big changes? What should you do with artists? And I had a few ideas, and I can tell you, these changes are not it. They are not it. When it comes to the add-on changes, I think behavior unfortunately did too much data reading. They said in their dev forums that they made these changes based off top performing and bottom performing add-ons, which is usually never a good sign when it comes to any balancing game, because data only tells you half the story. There are a lot of reasons why people run certain add-ons. Some people think they're fun. Some people think other add-ons are just really bad. Charcoal stick. But when you go based off data alone, you get results like what we got today. So the amount of add-ons that got changed was very few. A lot fewer than I expected, but none of them are good. Let's go ahead and start with the least offensive, that being automatic drawing. Automatic drawing got a little buff, even though it really didn't need one. Automatic drawing makes it where when your crows disintegrate, usually your power recovery time is 2 seconds. So they disintegrate, and then your power will come back in 2 seconds. Automatic, currently, focus camera. Sorry about that. I'll scoot in. Hi, you have to see my face. I'm sorry. Automatic, reduces that by 1.5 seconds currently. So your power comes back in 0.5 seconds, and now it will do that in 0.25, which is insane, but super kind of unnecessary. I never really thought automatic drawing was underperforming, if that made any sense. Automatic drawing saw its place on various zoning builds, along with another add-on we'll get into that they unfortunately nerfed. But automatic drawing didn't really need this buff, in my opinion. So but it's probably the least offensive. The next least offensive one is the iridescent feather buff, but it's not the way I would have gone about it. Iridescent feather no longer has the penalty of removing a crow from your arsenal. So what iridescent feather would do was whenever you use every single one of your crows, that's the key with iridescent feather. When you use all of your crows, you send them all out while you are on cooldown, you gain undetectable. Undetectable is actually pretty good on Artist because base wise, she is the second quietest killer in the game behind Pinhead. The only time she makes noise is when you use your power, you fall from elevation, or you swing your weapon. Other than that, she has no footsteps, and her chirps are very quiet and can easily be drowned out by the noise of generators. The issue of this is you have to use every single one of your crows, and Iridescent Feather took your 3 crows to 1. And if you ran Ink Egg, it would take your 4 crows to 3. Getting rid of the penalty, in my opinion, is just kind of... it's not what I would have done, especially, like, as strong as Undetectable is on her, Artist does not have any form of mobility. She cannot cross the map fast without some sort of help from a perk, like batteries included, or machine learning, or furtive, or anything that grants her haste. None of her add-ons grant her haste. She does not have a mobility tool, so Undetectable is not really the best, like, when you're facing better teams, because sometimes it's very hard to make use of it. So getting rid of the penalty but still having it require you to use all 3 of your birds is not what I would have done. I would have changed Iridescent Feather to whenever your power is on cooldown, no matter how many birds you use, you are undetectable. I could see it being a little strong in chase because you just zone with a bird, send it, and then you lose your red stain, making mind games very, very easy. So it'd be something I'd have to test. But other than that, it's not how I would have gone with Iridescent Feather, because one of the best things that me and a few other people did with Iridescent Feather with the penalty was do a slingshot with the 2, space them out, send it, injure, and be undetectable to get a nice, like, like sneak attack, It was really fun. But that was probably the least offensive of those buffs. The other buff that we got was... other change that wasn't super offensive, but I know hurt a lot of builds, was the Ink Egg. Now only reduces your disintegration timer by 1 second instead of 2. The benefit to this was stagger hits. Now, I personally never liked Ink Egg. I never really enjoyed using it, but it had its place, especially with Severed Hands, which we're going to get to. We're going to get to Severed Hands. Where you could do multiple different injuries, because Ink Egg would allow you to set up more birds and do multiple cross shots. Cross map shots, not cross shots. Cross map shots and injures by saying 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, that was one of the ways I got my one of my favorite clips ever, was getting that cross map down. A healthy survivor got down because I set up 4 birds with Ink Egg and Severed Hands. It's not my favorite, but it had its place, and now with the extra second, it makes staggered and zoning builds really bad. Another good place it had was zoning builds, because you had that extra bird, you would place it, and that 2 seconds would allow those birds to, if the survivor W keyed, the 2 seconds shaved off allowed your power come back faster, so you could do something with your crows. So I didn't like that, and I know a lot of people don't like that, so I would probably say revert. Now we get into the one that doesn't make sense for me, and that is the oil paints one. I don't know who runs oil paints. But oil paints makes it where when you send a crow and you miss a survivor, the range of the killer instinct is increased by 3 meters. It got reduced to 1.5. I don't know anyone who was using this add-on, at least that I've run into. Like, I've run into one person running charcoal stick. I thought they were crazy. I have never seen anyone use oil paints. I also don't understand why we're changing this to, like, we're nerfing its range. Like, is it supposed to be like a spirit husk situation where, like, you reduce the range so it's more accurate, but it doesn't matter. You get the killer instinct when you miss, so the benefit doesn't really matter. Like, I missed, and that's why I have killer instinct. It doesn't help. You get the killer instinct when you miss a crow, and missing a crow is bad. So why are we changing it? The another add-on that got absolutely hurt. We're getting into the really bad ones. The really bad ones. Untitled Agony got pretty smoked. Untitled Agony, when you swarm a survivor with a crow while running Untitled Agony, they would gain 15% hindered for 1.5 seconds. 15% hindered is the same hindered as a Freddy snare or a clown bottle, except obviously it's not as potent. It's only 1.5 seconds compared to a Freddy snare or clown bottle, which is like 3-4 seconds. I don't know off the top of my head. Kassir, let me know. But it was never really a problematic add-on, especially if you hit the survivor as they're vaulting a window. Like, the vault speed does not get affected by hindered for the most part, as far as I'm aware, unless they accidentally do like a slow vault. But like, it wasn't really problematic. It wasn't as potent as Freddy or Clown's bottles. It didn't slow them down in such a horrible way because it was only 1.5 seconds. And making it 10%, especially in the meta that we're in, where everyone's holding W and pre-dropping, it's going to be borderline useless. Because we're in such a really rough meta, especially for artists. That's why people don't really like playing art alongside the bugs, which is another thing I'll get to. Alongside the bugs, the meta just does not fit artists, and Untitled Agony was actually something that could kind of help you catch up, because this meta is for survivors essentially W key pre-drop, W key pre-drop, W key pre-drop. And a lot of killers are not enjoying it, and Artis is one of them. Artis is very much one of those killers who does not quite enjoy the W key pre-drop meta. She can somewhat, like, in theory, she can do something about it, because obviously, like, if you send a bird on the path you think they're heading and you tag them, you can follow it up, right? Like, on paper, it sounds like she can do something about it, but she really can't. Because in practice, survivors are being unpredictable. They're hiding behind walls, so it becomes a guessing game of where they went. So Untitled Agony being nerfed really, especially since you have to hit people with the birds. It's not like a clown or Fred. A clown ball is a better example, where you throw it and it spreads and it's essentially a trap there. You have to hit them with the bird. It is not a set thing. Even if you place a bird, they have to run through it, and like, I guess that's a trap. I guess I contradicted myself, but like, this wasn't a problematic add-on at all. I don't know why we nerfed it. Matea's baby shoes. This one actually, I don't think is awful, but it's not good. Matea's baby shoes, aura reading range. Matea's baby shoes revealed the auras of survivors within 5 meters of a idle crow for 3 seconds. That range is getting reduced to 4 meters, which I guess isn't awful, but again, there's nothing really, like, Mateus wasn't really an issue. Like, I think Mateus got heavily countered by holding W. Because if you placed a bird at a loop, like, alright, I'm gonna get melee, and then the survivor just, you know, W keys that way, like, what does Mateus do? Mateus doesn't do anything if they're gone. So I don't understand. By the way, check out the fit. Golden Girl. Best fit, in my opinion. I'm kidding. That's me tooting my own horn. Now we get into the two worst changes. And I really want behavior to listen to me as I say these for you guys. I want you guys to listen to me as I say these. These two changes cannot go to live. Not at all. Except one with a exception. And we'll get to that one right now, being velvet fabric. Velvet fabric. So actually, hold on. Let me explain a part of Artis's power. So when Artis swarms you with a crow, we see the swarm's aura, right? What a lot of people think is the minute you start repelling, it goes away. The aura is gone. The aura lingers for 2.5 seconds after you start repelling. So we still see the swarm's aura after you start the repel action. That way we can line up the shot for 2.5 seconds. Velvet fabric added 1.5 seconds to that, being making that a total of 4 seconds, which was really nice for sniper builds, and sniper builds are super fun and engaging. Dead by Behavior cut that down to 0.8 seconds. Now, my big question is, why didn't we get the 0.7 that was cut out base kit? We've done this with other killers. We did it with Vecna. Like just this patch, Vecna got decreased cooldown on his spells in compensation. His add-ons got nerfed. Huntress got extra ammo, got her ammo add-ons changed. Deathslinger got his stun base kit changed, and then his add-on nerfed. Why aren't we doing that for Artis? And even then, why so harsh? If you told me you were cutting Velvet down to 1 second, but put the 0.5 base kit, that way it's a even, hey, base kit, you see their aura for 3 seconds, and then Velvet adds 1 second on, sure, I'd be okay with that. I think that'd be a great change, because then it makes Velvet less required in a sense, but doesn't, you know, kill it, where it's still really good on sniper builds. But there's no base kit compensation here, and we're cutting this thing's use in half. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, we've done this for every other killer. Why not Artis? What's the deal? It's such a harsh nerf, and this wasn't even in the patch notes you guys gave us. We found this out when we went to the PTB. So, I want Velvet Fabric. I want to give behavior. I want you guys to think the solution to this is either A, do not go through with the change, or B, give us the time you cut out from Velvet base kit. Either make it the 0.7 or it, like I said, make Velvet Fabric 1 second and then base kit 3 seconds. That way it's just like a happy even number and my OCD won't be triggered. But yeah, that was a really awful change. But then we get into the worst offender, being severed hands. I was honestly thinking severed hands would not be as bad as it was. Like, if you watched my stream today, I was like, oh, severed hands will be fine. It only got cut down by one meter. Because honestly, I was expecting worse. Like, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I was expecting so much worse because I thought they were gonna tackle Severed Hands for its very frustrating playstyle, being the hook defender playstyle. The hook defender playstyle is probably my least favorite thing about Artists, because with Severed Hands, it basically makes unhooking, no matter what, a very unsafe action. It does not matter what you do. If she has Severed Hands, you have to play around unhooks very, very safely. Otherwise, Artists will punish you for just trying to save your friend. So my initial thought was they were going to add like a timer, right? That Singularity has for his biopods, where Severed Hands will not swarm unless you've been around that person for a very short time, which I thought was going to hurt the add-on. Like, it was going to obliterate it. So when I learned that it was only being cut down by 1 meter, I thought, okay, great. Severed Hands might actually not be worthless. Like, it's not getting a timer like I thought it would. Like, it might still be good. I even went into my friend's chat, Bran, aka the Mr. Headache. I went into his chat thinking, and I said, like, actually, I think Severed Hands might actually be fine. It only got cut down by 1 meter. Some people are really upset. I think it might be fine. And then I play tested the damn thing. And not only is the 2 meters even worse than I thought, because with the 2 meters, I didn't realize it was so short that if you have 2 survivors, say this mic is a gen, right? If you have a survivor on this end, and then this on this end, Severed Hands will not swarm. It's that short. 2 survivors on the same gen on the opposite sides will not swarm each other. And then another thing that Behavior didn't tell us in the patch notes is that Severed Hands swarm spreads now have invincibility frames. So I'll explain. Don't worry. So when you get hit by a crow, you have a 0.75 invincibility window where you cannot be injured by another bird. Which is obviously there to make sure that we can't just like 2-tap people like instantly, because that would be stupid. That would be very, 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 very dumb. Now, what made Severed Hands so good was the spreads from Severed Hands did not activate these invincibility frames on the people that got spreaded out. So you had 2 survivors, right? Say this is a bird. If a bird hit this person, they got the invincibility frames. This survivor, the crows were spread to, did not initially. So if you sent 2 birds, it would hit one of these survivors. Whoever initially got hit would have the invincibility frames. Anyone else who gets spread out, the crow, they do not. So you could do a 2-tap slingshot where you set up 2 birds, not even like super spaced out, just set up 2 birds, send them, and if there were 2 people, you would hit one and injure the other, because the crows would spread to the second person and they wouldn't have the invincibility frames. This absolutely destroyed Severed Hands. This change with the iframes makes it so Severed Hands just, you can't go for the cool shots that a lot of Artist players really enjoy, because on paper that sounds strong. Like, you'd be like, oh, of course they got rid of that. Like, having no invincibility frames is dumb. The problem is it's too inconsistent, because especially against better teams, a lot of people tell me that Severed Hands is her best add-on, and that, like, without Severed Hands, she's nothing. Like, rah! Like, if Severed Hands gets ruined, like, she's nothing. It's like, no. Severed Hands is not her best add-on. when you face better teams, they split up. Severed Hands suffers from what I call the Legion syndrome, where once you get against like a good team or Swift who knows that you have Severed Hands, all they do is split up. The only way you get Severed Hands value then is to force value with the frustrating unhook interaction that I was telling you all about. But with that gone, like, now the only way to get the best value out of Severed Hands is to do the unhook frustrating BS, because now that is the only real time that you can like guarantee that two people will be there, because A, the range got reduced, and 2, they have iframes again, so they killed severed slingshots, and they made it where two people on opposite sides of gens don't swarm each other. Why? I don't understand behavior, genuinely. I want to know why you went at this through data, because data has proven again and again, not just in Dead by Daylight, but every other game that has done stuff by data, the changes never really like are positive. They like, there have been a few minor ones that probably have been good based on data, but for the most part, when you go based off like, hey, these add-ons are like her best performing, like, and then these ones are her worst performing, that if you go only based off that, that's not the full picture. That's not the full picture. A lot of people run Severed Hands not just because of the potential of strength, but because, like, hey, the dopamine of a multi-hit shotgun feels good sometimes. It feels really good sometimes. Against better teams, it won't happen. I can tell you so many games where I just never got value out of Severed Hands. So where do we go from here? In my opinion, I think I'll write a list. But here's what I would do if I was behavior. And if you are watching this video, I hope that I'm putting my trust into you. I'm putting my trust into you, please. Because you guys have proven that you guys can listen, unlike a lot of other games and streamers. And I want you guys to know I appreciate you guys, but I am afraid of this. As someone who has put almost 2,000 hours alone into this character in my 4,000 hours of Dead by Daylight, I am a little nervous, because these changes don't add variety to her add-on choices, not like you think they do. The Severed Hands removes her fun skill shot slingshots. The Untitled Agony kills her chase builds. The Ink Egg change kills some of her zoning builds. Like, with these changes, you just deleted so many possible builds with such little compensation. The Velvet Fabric change alone hurts a lot of sniper builds with no compensation. We gave compensation to all these other characters, such as Huntress, Slinger, Vecna. Why not Artis? What I would do, I think, as a solution, I think you guys should leave most of these add-ons alone. The only ones I would like to go through is automatic drawing. That's it. Automatic drawing is fine as it is, but if you're gonna go through with one, let it be that one. Iridescent Feather, make it where whenever the birds are on cooldown, not just using all of them, you gain undetectable, because then it's not as limiting to your skill shots and fun stuff. Also, it is an iridescent, and it changes the way you play around loops. I think it would be cool to have an iridescent do that, because a lot of undetectable add-ons usually are green or lower, such as Knight's Town Watchman's Torch. Vecna's Cloak of Invisibility got buffed and it's a purple. I think that with the potential strength that getting rid of your terror radius constantly, I think being at iridescent is worth it. Ink Egg, I would leave alone. I would leave that alone. Matea's Baby Shoes, honestly, I think it'd be fine, but also, like, I would prefer to leave it alone. Severed Hands and Velvet Fabric cannot go through, but Velvet Fabric can only go through if you're giving us base kit compensation. Only if you're giving us base kit compensation. Untitled Agony, I would leave alone. And then if you want my opinion on add-ons to change, Charcoal Stick is right there. It actively hinders your power because it shows the survivors when you spawn the crows. All a survivor has to do is look around the map while they're on gen. They see a crow, they just hop off, go away. Wait. Another one I would probably look at if you want to change one is Still Life Crow. That is the uncommon add-on where it adds 4 seconds to your disintegration timer. We already have Chocolo Corn, which adds 2. I think Still Life Pro just doesn't have a place at all. So if you want to change those add-ons, I would say Charcoal Stick, Still Life Crow. I would also change the Darkest Ink because blindness is just not a good status effect as a whole. I would focus on those add-ons. Maybe even Garden of Rot. Although I know Garden of Rot has their own enjoyers, so I would say leave it as alone. If you want to look at artists as a whole, I would give her something. Because like you guys said, she is in a good place balance-wise. She is very, very good where she is. However, I would add a special mechanic to her, kind of like how Deathslinger has a special blood point bonus for long range shots and an add-on for this. Artists, whenever you injure someone farther than, let's do 20, 16, no, 24, one of those three, 16, 20, or 24. I would probably say 20 or 24. Anytime you injure a survivor outside that range with your crows, your cooldown is reduced. I think that would also allow Festering Carrion to kind of take a breather just a little bit. A lot of artist mains are probably still going to run it, but I think that would also allow for more variety because you get rewarded for snipes and it doesn't buff her anti-loop capabilities, which are a huge pain point for a lot of survivors because a lot of people are annoyed with playing against artists because they're like, she just block off, she just block off, she just block off. If we added like Severed Tongue base kit, Festering base kit, that would also buff her anti-loop, which would make her a lot more frustrating to face. But I think adding a base mechanic, kind of like how Deathslinger gets blood point bonus if you hit someone farther than 12 or 14 meters. Deathslinger mains, tell me down below. But I really hope Behavior listen. You guys have listened to the end. I think you guys are doing pretty good for a company. I am very excited for the Springtrap chapter, but as an artist main, she comes first, and I don't like the changes you are proposing to her. So I'm giving you my feedback. I think most of the add-on changes feel really bad, and I don't think you should go through with the majority of them. And if you guys want anything to focus on next to artists, I gave them to you. Charcoal Stick, Still Life Crow, Darkest Ink, maybe Garnrot, Base Kit like Mechanic, maybe reduce the summon power, you know, something like that. Because I don't want to leave you guys with saying, hey, this is bad, don't ever touch her, rah, you know. But I want to lean more into her sniping and macro power and her skillfulness, because I do not want artists' identity to be changed. A lot of people tell me that artists should be easier. Respectfully, I disagree. Because I think every game has its place for complex, complicated, super intense mechanical killers with high skill ceilings, and I think artists should be one of them. I think artists should stay the way she is, because some people really enjoy being tested and hitting cool shots and skill shots. But I want artists to stay that way instead of making her easier. What I want her to be is more rewarding for landing those skill shots. Another thing is that a lot of artist mains are also not happy because we've kind of been bugged. We've kind of been bugged for the past few months. Now, I will. We still have the delay bug, although it appears to be visually. I put that on your guys' forums, and I tagged you guys on Twitter saying, hey, it seems you fixed it gameplay-wise, but it still delayed visually, and it fucks over my muscle memory. The crows still do not accelerate from 24 meters to 35 meters a second. You can see up in gameplay, like, they don't do that. They do not accelerate at the speed they should be, but the other, unless that got randomly fixed, because there were a few things that got randomly fixed, I just wish you guys told us. Like, the stuttering seemed to be gone, even though that was a huge pain point. Like, none of my crows dissolved on their own, which was honestly a shock. I was like, that didn't happen. That's nice. But yeah, I'm super rusty, so I have to get back into her, but so that's why a lot of artist mains are not really happy, because we've been struggling through a period of like, hey, our killer was bugged horribly. We got the killer instinct finally fixed, even though that was kind of a global thing. The hit registration bug isn't often, but still happens on artists because she's a range killer. You've seen the clips with Huntress, all the hatchets being validated. So that's why a lot of us are not happy, but I want you guys to essentially, like, take artists to the salon. She's in a rough spot. Get her to a salon. Clean her up. Fix her up, please. I don't want this to be another Spirit where the audio bugs persist and persist and persist and persist and persist. I want to enjoy my character that you guys have made. And I don't want some of these really fun add-ons to get nerfed just because they're performing well. I also don't want the actual bad add-ons charcoal stick to stick around, because there is no point in using them. So, but the reason I am being super cordial, super informative, and trying to help you guys out and give you stuff to work on is because you guys have proven with the Xenomorph that you guys do try and listen, and I hope this reaches you guys for that. And obviously, we can get more voices if we need. I know a whole slew of artist mains, such as Fresh Perspective, Carnivorous, Elise from Hell, Mel, Mirage, Doll. I know so many artist mains. We all have our own little cute community, and we love each other, even though we love to go back and forth. Plasma, like, we have so many artist mains who are amazing people, and none of us are really enjoying these. And if you need more voices, we can absolutely get them for you. I applied for the creator program today. Do I expect get in? Not at all. Not at all. I'm nowhere near 10,000 followers. But one thing I do know is that if you guys did accept me, I would be happy to be your artist voice. But any of the names I did mention, Pear, Karn, I think they would be even better if you guys needed someone to give you the best artist advice for what changes she needs. So that's essentially my 2 cents. I am gonna head to bed. Hopefully you guys kind of I guess I am afraid that you guys won't listen, but you guys have proven. I don't know why I have doubts. But I really hope that you guys do take this moment to kind of give artists a whole little special, like, sum up. So, a little cleanup. Change the add-ons that are actually bad. Instead of taking away variety, give her variety, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I play artists a lot on Dead by Daylight on Twitch at twitch.tv/astralness. I'm shaking off my rust a lot, as you can tell in these clips. I am very, 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 very rusty. It's really bad. Like, even seeing it, I'm just like, oh, these are bad. Putting in this B-roll, ooh. But yeah, but hey, Springtrap's really cool, but obviously, like I said, my killer comes first. I love her. And I know you guys do too. You've given her so many skins and attention, but I definitely believe that she deserves a little better treatment than this. So, yeah. Thank you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.